That's really healthy. I, male, 24, with the same age. I don't want to sound like a diva. Sometimes these things are deeper than we realize. He made his list and has close to 400 people on his. Am I the a-hole for yelling at my fiance? Just stop talking so much. Yes. Hope this helps. So hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Laylah, and in case you're new here, every last Friday of the month, I like to post Am I the A-hole stories. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Now in case you're here and you're like, what the is it? Now in case you're new here and you're like, what the is Am I the A-hole? Let me tell you, let me give you the scoop. Am I the A-hole is a subreddit on Reddit where people can post a story or a situation or something that happened and ask the timeless question, am I the a-hole? And from there, people make their convictions, yes, no, maybe so, everybody sucks here, so on and so forth. Now, my main go-to for the crazy toxic Reddit posts is this page on Instagram called Toxic Reddit. They curate a page with some of the most toxic posts from across various subreddits, not just Am I the a-hole. So if you want to check them out and you want to give them a follow, they're linked down below. And we have a new page that we're bringing to the channel. There's this new page I came across that posts more neutral Reddit stories. They also curate a page with various subreddits. So this new page is called Viral Reddit, and they will also be linked down below. So everybody settle in, cozy on up, and let's just dive right in with our first story. Okay. Am I the a-hole because I don't want to take my wife to a work dinner? I have a very good position at work, where I am general head of the financial department. I must admit that I benefited a little from nepotism to get into the job, but not to get the position I am currently in. I am married to Lissy, fake name. That's a great name choice. My wife didn't even go to college, she has no education beyond high school. So we live off my income mainly, and she does hobbies like nail art and that kind of thing at a beauty salon. So she doesn't need a college degree. Is it a hobby or is it a job? I also want to say that my wife is a fairly simple and a bit simple person. I get the feeling she's simple. Likewise, she doesn't like complicated eating. Lissy will only use a spoon and / or fork. Whoa, we got the cutlery police over here. What? According to my wife, she doesn't like to get complicated, so she would simply use her hands and the cutlery she chose. What? That said, next Saturday there will be a dinner with the heads of the different departments, managers, and some employees. It is quite a luxurious place. I've never taken my wife to this type of thing because of all of the above. However, this time they sent an invitation to my house, and it was my wife who received it. The invitation says that I can bring companions, but I have told my wife that she will not go with me. I have not told her the reason why I do not want her to go to that dinner with me. I have given her several excuses, such as, I want to go alone to enjoy one night with my colleagues. No one will bring a companion. It will be uncomfortable because no one knows you. But she's really insisting too much on wanting to go. Am I the a-hole if I tell my wife why I don't want her company at that dinner? And then someone says you're the a-hole. You're embarrassed by her? That's all there is. Though I don't understand if she's eating something like steak, she picks it up with her hands and chomps on it. I guess I teach her how to use a knife because that seems like it'd be important for not just work dinners, or suggest a handheld item or fork-friendly item if she's knife averse. But most people only do fork, knife, spoon. It's okay to not know the fancy cutlery or chopsticks or whatever. I'm not ashamed of her. And yes, if it's steak or something like that, she'll pick it up with a fork and then bite into it. Or she'll just use her hands. Does she eat like that in public too, or only at home? Not going to lie, I love gnawing on a good meaty T-bone at home, but I would never do it in public. Just tell her what you're worried about. No, she only does it at home. But sometimes she forgets in public and does it. And when she reacts, she goes back to using the cutlery. So someone pointed out in the comment section, same thing I did, she does her hobby at the nail salon. Is she not working there? Is that not called a job? This goes to the topic of communication. Communication fixes everything. And if people would just learn to communicate with their spouses, but honestly, this guy sounds really, I guess the word I'm looking for is entitled. It comes across in the post. I understand. Eating with your hands in public, I understand, might come across as, I don't want to say low class because that feels like really mean to say, but it might come across as kind of, I don't know, impolite, we'll say. Hello, please focus on me. But I would have no real issues with that. You know, I chew on my steak. And I feel like, just his mocking of her, of what I feel like is her job, because who does a hobby at a location of business? Like, I feel like that was a way of mocking her, so that kind of comes across as really demeaning and nasty if he is describing his wife's job as a hobby. People also always bring education into play when, if she has found a job that works for her, or a hobby as we're calling it, I just feel like it's a simple conversation, but it also kind of feels like this guy just hates his wife. Like, that's the vibe I'm reading into this. It just sounds like this guy does not like his wife. But again, there's always more details to stories. There's always, like, way more to them than we will ever fully know. But I do think that in the story he's describing, he is the a-hole. If you have a different opinion, that's okay. That's mine. Let me have this. And I just feel like he comes across as very demeaning and rude towards his wife in the phrasing of the post throughout a good chunk of it. On to the next one. Am I the a-hole for asking my fiancé to cut 200 people from his guest list? I, 31 female, and my fiancé, 32 male, recently got engaged. Congratulations. We have started making our guest list as part of our wedding planning. My fiancé is a very social guy. He's been in the restaurant industry for 10 plus years and has made a lot of friends and business connections. On the other hand, you have me. I have a very small but close group of friends. I get overstimulated easily and have to prepare for big group interactions, and usually can only last a few hours before I need to wander off and recharge a little. We made our first pass at a guest list. I have around 45 to 50 people on my list. This includes mutual friends and their plus ones. These are the people I can't see this day happening without. He made his list and has close to 400 people on his. This includes people who he's met in business and wants to essentially shake hands and kiss babies with. I forgot to mention he's opening his own business soon. He said he will take another pass at the list and cut it down so we have 400 in total. Thought of this makes me physically ill. I want to be supportive and invite everyone he views as important to him, but there are a significant number of people on the list that I have never even met. Some I haven't even heard of before this list. For context, we have been together for 2.5 years. I also saw names, and when I asked him who they were, he said, well, I was invited to their wedding 3+ years ago. Some people he only exchanges happy birthday with every year and says they need to be at the wedding. Again, I want to be supportive, but I have a hard time justifying paying $250 plus per person on people I have never met and who he only says happy birthday to. I've tried explaining this to him, but I know we are both passionate people, and sometimes I have a hard time expressing how things make me feel. It's like I ghost wrote this post. I don't want to sound like I don't care about his friendships, but to me, some of his reasons for inviting people just seem childish or irrelevant. Ideally, I would like a wedding with 150 people. He wants closer to 500. I think I could do 250 without having a full panic attack and meltdown. I don't want to sound like a diva, but the thought of being around 200 plus people I've never met and being the center of attention makes me want to crawl into a corner and hide. Last time I brought it up to him, he got really defensive and said I was making him feel like I don't care about the people who are important to him. I don't think that's the case, but am I the a-hole for wanting him to cut down from 400 people to 200? Maybe this is kind of like no one's an a-hole in this story? Is that a thing? Not the a-hole? Everybody sucks here? Everybody's fine? I don't know, but I feel like they both have their own views on this, and they're both valid. Paying that much to have that many people at your wedding is kind of the thing that's critical in this story, I think. Weddings are expensive, and it is truly my belief that that kind of money should not be spent on the wedding itself. That's just kind of my view on it. I feel like neither person is technically wrong, but from a financial point of view, and especially because he's opening a business soon, right? That's what they said. Let me double check. I always gotta double check. And stupid idiot, that's what I am. Yeah, he's opening his own business soon. And these are people he's only said happy birthday to. and he just met in business. He wants to essentially shake hands and kiss babies with. That's not really what a wedding is for. And like, I understand his view. Maybe he's more extroverted, maybe he's more outgoing, but to waste that kind of money just so you can shake hands with people and kiss their children, that sounds weird. I'm sorry. I feel like it's not really financially wise, maybe, but I don't feel like either person in this situation sucks. It seems like she has come up with a compromise to cut it down to 250 people, especially because they're going to be paying 250 per person, so that comes out to literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands. She feels like she's gonna have a panic attack, and she hates being the center of attention, and wouldn't enjoy her own wedding. I feel like that's something her fiance could take into account, because, you know, this is something they're both planning together. So if something makes someone really uncomfortable, maybe there's a compromise. And I think cutting down the list to 250 people? Hold on, let me check. I'm stupid. Cutting it down to 250 people is a great compromise. Yeah, I'm gonna go with no one sucks here. No one's an a-hole. Neither person is wrong here. They just want different things. On to the next one. I saw this one the other day, and I had planned on reading it. I didn't read through the post, but just the title alone kind of pissed me off. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she has no right to give me life advice because she is younger than me? I, male 24, with the same age, sometimes pick up my sister, female 16, from our high school to drive her to our parents' house because of how all of our schedules work. I tend to drink a lot of Red Bulls, the energy drink, as opposed to the wine throughout the day, maybe 3 to 4. Really bad for your heart. 1 to start my day, 1 when I get off work, and while I pick up my sister, and 1 to 2 at night. I believe that it helps me function well during the day. Yesterday when I picked up my sister, I was driving with my Red Bull and a cup holder next to me. My sister told me that she is worried about if I have a caffeine addiction and that she thinks I should stop drinking so much Red Bull. I got kind of upset. My little sister, who is 8 years younger than me, trying to give me life advice is just freaking dumb. I told her that she has no idea what it is like to get up so early for work and work 8 hours. I feel kind of bad now looking back because I was pretty stern and called her a moron under my breath, but I knew she heard me. Am I the a-hole? Without a doubt, yes. We're gonna discuss. I'm just gonna say it straight up. You are the a-hole, and here's why. Here's my opinion. Here's my take on it. So I'm the younger sister of many people. That's a weird way of saying that. That's just really mean, treating a 16-year-old like that. This is not an original thought, so I'm stealing this from the comment section. Someone pointed out that a 16-year-old who wakes up early, goes to school all day, would understand a lot more than he realizes. When he says, let me pull it up, that she has no idea what it's like to get up so early for work and work 8 hours. She does know what it's like to get up early, and while school is not like a job, school is mentally and sometimes physically taxing, so I think she would get it. But you also don't need to have these like deep experiences to know that something like that is really unhealthy. 3 to 4 Red Bulls, a very high caffeine, very highly caffeinated drink. Drinking 3 to 4 of those a day really is going to tax your heart, and especially at night. I can't help but wonder if maybe that is impacting your sleep, thus putting you in a very vicious cycle. He's getting about 400 milligrams close to per day. And that's really bad for your system, really bad for your heart. And on top of that, he's being a total a-hole to his sister. So yes, 100%, you are the a-hole. She's looking out for you, man. On to the next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to dog sit for my sister after she refused to babysit for me? My sister and I, both in our late 20s, have always had a decent relationship, but we're not exactly drop everything to help each other close. She has a very pampered golden retriever that she treats like her child. I have a toddler who, as you can imagine, is a bit more demanding than a dog. A couple of months ago, I had an unexpected work emergency and asked my sister if she could watch my son for a few hours. She said no because she was too busy with her own plans. Turns out those plans were going to a spa. I managed to figure things out on my own, but I was upset and let it go without saying much. Now she's asked me to watch her dog for a weekend while she goes out of town with friends. She insists it's not a big deal because the dog is low maintenance and practically family. Lots of things in quotation marks. I told her I couldn't, as I already had plans with my son and didn't want the extra responsibility. She got mad, saying I was being petty and holding a grudge. She argued that her dog is her baby, and that family should help each other out. I reminded her that she didn't step up when I needed help with my actual child, but she brushed it off, saying it wasn't the same thing. Now, my parents are involved and think I should just do it to keep the peace, but honestly, I don't feel like rearranging my life to accommodate her after she made it clear she wouldn't do the same for me. Am I the a-hole for saying no? There's lots of opinions in the comment section on this. I think it depends on if she had an appointment at the spa. Like, if you book a massage, you have to cancel before 24 to 48 hours, or else they will charge you half to sometimes the entire fee. That can be anywhere from $100 to $200, depending on the service. So if that's the case, then yeah, you're the a-hole. Considering she's asking you way in advance to dog sit, and unless you offer to pay for the charges, she would have gotten for canceling last minute. But if she was just going for a walk-in service, then no, not the a-hole. Someone else commented, however, there's more to this. The poster had a work emergency, and if she missed it, there's a possibility she could have been let go from her job, thus losing a lot more money than the possible $200 fee here. On top of that, the sister here would have only had to watch the kid for a few hours, where it seems like she wants her sister to watch her dog for a few days. The poster is fair. If her sister couldn't cover for her during an emergency, there's no reason for her to watch that dog for a non-emergency. And then nope, you're wrong here. The sister with the dog is in the wrong, and the parents are also wrong. If you don't scratch my back, I won't scratch yours. Sister with the kid had an actual emergency, while sister with the dog just wanted to have fun. If you aid with the sister with the dog, you're the a-hole too. I feel like everybody's making really solid points here. One thing to take into consideration is if that commenter was right and she canceled and got charged anyway, that is a lot of money to lose. But it is a work emergency, and I feel like, yeah, I'm not gonna make a conviction here because there's just certain posts that I don't really feel comfortable being like, you're the a-hole, or no, you're not the a-hole, because it's, you know, there's nuances to these situations, and sometimes these things are deeper than we realize. It's not necessarily the worst thing to say no, because her sister didn't help her out when she needed help. I feel like a work emergency versus needing a pet sitter are very different situations, though. Which one's heavier? So what do you think? Who's the a-hole here? Or is no one the a-hole here? Or is everyone the a-hole here? Moving on. Am I the a-hole for yelling at my fiance? Stop talking so much. Yes. Help this out. I'm male 24, and my fiance is female 25. We've been together since we were 16 and 17, and everything was perfect. Was, not is. Recently, however, she's taken the habit of literally non-stop talking. 24/7, just talking and talking and talking, and I never said anything in the beginning. At first, I used to actually listen and talk about whatever she was talking about with her, but after a few months, I just started ignoring her, but she never took the hint. That's really healthy. I'm an introvert, and sometimes I just want to sit in silence and peace and not have to listen to a literal radio every single hour I'm with her. So today, I snapped. I didn't even realize what I'd done till it was already done. I yelled at her to please stop talking so much and close her mouth for just a minute so I can have some peace. She looked shocked and just stared back at me and called me a jerk and a terrible person. She made me leave the house and won't answer any of my calls or texts. I know I was a bit harsh, but I think she overreacted. She must have known on some level she was being super annoying. Am I the a-hole? And then someone was like, you're the a-hole. Is this how you plan to treat her for the rest of your life, Chief? Call it off for her sake. Nah, I know what I did was wrong. I should have told her sooner without yelling or making her feel that way. I guess it's a good lesson for me to learn this early on. And then someone says, this early on? You've been together for like 8 years. What the frick do you mean? Let's take a deeper look at the story. Okay, so they've been together for, we'll say, about 8 years, right? And everything was perfect until she'd taken the habit of literally nonstop talking. But instead of telling her, he, starts ignoring her, and because she doesn't get the hint, that annoys him. And it gets to the point that he finally snaps at her. And he yelled at her, just please stop talking so much and close her mouth for just a minute so he can have some peace. And then she called him a jerk and a terrible person, which I think is correct, because rather than communicating, hey, baby girl, who I'm gonna be marrying and probably spending a good portion of my life with, you are the most wonderful person I know. And you are great. And I love talking to you, but sometimes I just need some moments to myself, just to, you know, think and recharge. It's nothing against you. I love talking to you. You're my favorite person to talk to. Like, there's 1,000 ways he could have gone about this. This early on into the relationship, 8 years. This could have been communicated and fixed so easily, and he decided not to. People like to say that communication is key in relationships, and that is 100% true, especially in this case. If someone is doing something wrong or something that's kind of like taxing you or making the relationship more difficult than it has to be, sometimes all it takes is a simple conversation. Just sitting down, explaining to them, telling them, letting them know. Now, if they continuously keep overstepping a boundary that you've set, or they just keep doing the same thing no matter how many times you try to tell them, then that is the moment in which you need to change up the tactic in which you're communicating. Not that yelling or snapping at your partner is ever okay. For him to say that she overreacted shows very little remorse, and that she must have known on some level she was being super annoying. So yeah, this guy is the a-hole because there's no remorse. He didn't communicate, and someone talking your ear off 24/7 is annoying, but I feel like there's a solution in that, especially if you're going to marry this person. So my final conviction, you are the a-hole. So yeah, that was our last one for the night, and that's where we're gonna cut it off. So many a-holes tonight, and I feel like this was a pretty good one. It's not every video where I do these where I'm like, that was a good story. Like, every story I read really hit. Like, sometimes I'll read them and I'll be like, that was the most boring I've ever seen in my life. So I feel like, man, I don't want to end the night here. I have such excellent news. I did. I will link down to my entire Reddit playlist down below, as well as to Toxic Reddit and Viral Reddit if you want to check out their pages and follow them. There's so many stories on there, some of which I'm just never going to be able to have time to read. Hundreds of posts, thousands of posts, millions and billions and trillions of posts. There's a lot of posts we'll never be able to go over. So yeah, everything will be linked down below if you want to go check that out, as well as I do my best to give credit to all of the original posters, and go check out the Reddit playlist if you want to keep vibing with me. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you all here next year. See what I did there? Hopefully I'll see you all here next time.